Good morning from New York City. It's funny, I was thinking to myself this morning, I could have called this Notes to Self because when I feel called to say something, it's usually because it's something I need to hear. It's like, Dear Constance, is me opening up and sharing with you a little bit of my journal. Only I'm the world's worst or most inconsistent journaler. Maybe I should say it like that. I'm an inconsistent journaler. Anyway, Dear Constance is basically a note to self. And what I want to talk about today is something I know so many people ponder, noodle, struggle with, work on, and it's this. What am I supposed to do next? Where do I go from here? Or another way to put that is, how can I make a difference? How can I make a bigger difference? Who needs me? Where are my people? It's interesting because this is something I have struggled with my entire life. I remember sitting in a car in Italy with my friend Trisha. I had only been in Italy for like, I don't know, a year or two, and I was still teaching English and I desperately wanted to get a job. And no one would hire me because they thought I didn't speak Italian well enough, but I was college educated, spoke Spanish, and I was looking for a secretary job, right? And I remember crafting, sitting in the car with Trisha, crafting that perfect short telegram. Believe it or not, I sent a telegram after an interview basically saying, hire me, I'm a good bet. I've always struggled to communicate who I am, what I do, my value proposition, some people call it. And I'd say the only exception to this was when I was a headhunter. It was very clear what I did, very clear what my value proposition was. And I did very well, only guess what? I didn't love it. So anyway, what prompts this message today is something I read on LinkedIn. I'm following this guy named DEVO Harris, DEVO. He's the cousin of Kanye West, believe it or not. And he's a very interesting, well-educated, articulate man. And this one line he posted about a week ago really grabbed me. It was this: the world doesn't see you for who you are. It sees you for who you say you are. So speak it into existence, then work until it's undeniable. Let me say that again. The world doesn't see you for who you are. It sees you for who you say you are. So speak it into existence, then work until it's undeniable. This speaks to me for many reasons. One is because many years of working with people who were looking for jobs or in fraught work situations, and now in my work with younger people, mostly people in their 20s, one of the common themes, I would say one of the major common themes that runs through wherever you are in your work life, looking for work, unhappy with your work, having done the work to reinvent yourself and looking for work, there are two through lines and they're close cousins. One is an emphasis or overemphasis on out there, someone who holds the carrot and has the job you can't get, feeling like it's impossible to be heard in the sea of people. And in the case of younger people, it's really hard to figure out where you can go, what your options are. So many different opportunities. It is overwhelming. I would say the other through line is the vast majority of people, me included, have not done the work to be very clear on who they are, what they do, and what they want. What I would say is doing that work and really getting into the nitty-gritty and articulating that for yourself and in written form, whether it be for your LinkedIn profile, your resume, or your elevator pitch. Clarity gives you confidence, and confidence gives you a feeling of control. In other words, you bring the locus of control back to yourself and you shift away from all of the focus on what's out there. Who controls the purse strings? Who controls the job search process? Who's the better coach in your area of expertise? So bringing this full circle back to the DEVO Harris quote, it jumped out at me because I knew that I had not done the work to be very clear on who I am, what I'm offering, who my ideal client is, etc. It gave me a sense of agency to want to get clear and do the work. And in my case, it just happened over the last few days, it gave me confidence and it made me feel a greater sense of control. I am a little bit concerned that some of you are rolling your eyes because you're like, no, I've done the work. I'm very clear on my offering. And I would simply challenge you to go back and think again. One of the reasons that I felt compelled to talk about this is because I have been struggling with it. And I am talking to so many people who are in my same position. It can be people that are looking for what's next or where do I go from here? How can I make a bigger impact? How is it that I've done all of this work and I'm so confident and I can't find clients? Where are my people who needs me type of questioning? And very importantly, people who are really called to make a difference, even willing to offer their work and services for free, such as the desire to contribute, make a difference. As I'm saying this, so many people are coming to mind. One is a senior executive who led IT in a large, complex organization. Another one is a former CEO and a highly successful entrepreneur. I'm thinking of these two heart-centered men who retired from their companies, went through the transition, and then went back and got coaching certification, joined groups. They did all the right things, and yet they feel a bit like they're drifting, unmoored, inspired and driven to serve. I'm thinking of a teacher whose life work is in early reading and literacy. I'm thinking of the investment banker turned international consultant who is now a songwriter. I'm thinking of two women friends, Ivy League educated, and have a plethora of certifications and accolades, who often feel like they too are swimming upstream. I find it such a mystery that even when you're older and wiser and have much more to bring to the table and have done the work and are even willing to work for free, fueled as you are with a desire to contribute, that meaning making, whatever you want to call it, feels like it's just beyond your reach. It feels elusive. And I find that to be such a mystery. I went and looked up the meaning or the definition of mystery. Mystery applies to what cannot be fully understood by reason or resists or defies explanation. And synonyms of mystery are enigma, puzzle, riddle. So, yeah, all this to say, I guess, is that this is one of life's mysteries, or I live it and experience it and think of it as one of life's mysteries. In fact, it brings to mind something Ralph Fiennes said in Conclave. And yes, I was one of those people that went back and watched Conclave after the Pope died. There's this one great line, and he says, "If there was certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery, and therefore no need for faith." If any of this resonates, or if you feel like you're floating out there and trying to figure out what's next, how to make meaning, what we can control is saying who we are, who we seek to serve, and as DEVO Harris said, speak it into existence. Sort of raise our flag because the world sees you for who you say you are. Speak it into existence and work until it's undeniable. And then, of course, there's that work to have faith and trust, because this really is one of life's mysteries. One of the things that I love is the Ani Nin quote that says, "My heart is at ease knowing that that which is meant for me will never miss me, and that which misses me was never meant for me." Let me say that again. My heart is at ease knowing that what is meant for me will never miss me, and that which misses me was never meant for me. I'll end here. Until next time, from my heart to yours.